So you just left the Jehovah's Witnesses, or maybe you're thinking about it. First, let me say, you're not alone. I walked away after 30 years inside, and in this video, I want to tell you the truth about what happens next. Because leaving the org is one thing, but staying free, that's another thing. Now, there's different ways to leave and what happens next. Um, there's more than one way, and I'm just going to touch on a few. And depending on how you do it, your experience after will be different. Now, here are some ways people leave and how the org tends to respond. Now, number one is the fade. You stop attending gradually. You make excuses like, well, I'm caring for my family. That's kind of what I did. And they'll try to shepherding calls, drop-ins. They'll just pop in, or they'll send you guilt texts. We miss you. Haven't seen you at the meeting lately. Is there anything we can do? So some fade smoothly. Others, like me, still get pulled back in years later. We're going to talk about that because you don't want to make that mistake. So I moved congregations. That's how I planned to do it. Remember, I got my daughter reinstated. She had an unfair judicial in the appeal. It was just a disaster. So I walked out. She got disfellowshipped, full sentence, 2 years, and I got reproved like you wouldn't believe. They said I could not even preach in the Northwest Territories when I go up to do my work. So I'd fly up there, spend thousands of dollars. I wasn't allowed to preach. I developed all those territories. I was still a JW. And so I had to hire elders to come up and sign the territory out. Anyways, that happened. And I sold my house and I moved, planned on quitting. I attended the new congregation maybe once and told them I'm looking after my parents, and I was. They were getting old. My dad was on dialysis. And I stopped attending. They called a few times at the house. They just would show up. I wasn't home, but I knew they were there. I had cameras. And then I put up a gate. And that was it. Silence until 8 years later. So Glenn showed up at my gate one morning and he called from outside on the telephone and the cell phone. And I told him, no meeting. We're not going to have a meeting unless we have an appointment. Like, it was early in the morning. I was still half asleep in my house coat. That's, you see, when you get out of the JW org, you're not up with a suit and tie on at 8 o'clock every morning waiting to go out in service. You relax. You let your shoulders down. You have maybe a second cup of coffee. Maybe look over some of the ExJW channels. I don't know, whatever you do. That's what I was doing. I was just chilling. Phone rang. It surprised me. Eight years later, and here's this. I just talked to him. And here's the mistake, folks. If you think that you can leave and just have these conversations, like I met Glenn in a grocery store. I didn't chase him down. He didn't chase me down. 8 years later, we met in a grocery store. My good wife and I were in there. And then the next Saturday, Glenn shows up at my gate. Like we were talking like it was yesterday. That's your first mistake, folks. First mistake. That should never happen. You should never allow it to happen. In fact, if you see an elder in the grocery store and you've walked away, you have disfellowshipped him, in a sense. You want to shun him, especially an elder, because that's where your damage will happen. But anybody, for that matter, you want to really watch who you talk to. I just thought, it was a friendly discussion. Well, it turned out at the end to be a full-blown investigation, and they tricked me. Where's my cup? I had it here. My Tim Hortons cup. Here it is. This is the biggest trick right here in Canada. Tim Hortons. Hey, we'll meet you at Tim Hortons. I'll buy you coffee. Sure, love it. So I thought I was just meeting with Glenn, but there was another elder there, and that's how it happens. So never, ever, ever take them up, meeting them blindly for a cup of coffee. So the next way you can leave. So the first one, let's just go back. That was the fade. That's what I tried. The fade. Sold my house, moved to another congregation, said send my records there, attended one or two meetings, and then had to deal with my family requirements, and they just thought I was weak. I split up. Like at that time, I went through a split up, so they knew that. So I said, leave me alone. So, anyways, the next one, number 2, is the quiet walk away. Okay, so you just simply stop attending. The quiet walk away. You say nothing. The org may assume spiritual weakness, but not rebellion. You see, shunning is passive, but present. So that's what you're going to experience. Shunning, it's passive, but it's there. But they think that they could get you back really quick. You've seen a lot do a quiet walk away. We'll talk about that in a bit. What some do, because they go back. A lot go back. But the quiet walk away, that's one. You simply stop attending. The verbal exit, number 3, you tell an elder you don't believe anymore. Well, that often fast tracks you to be marked or disfellowshipped. You'll likely lose all contact immediately. The verbal exit. There's a cost for everything. The activist exit. The activist exit. You speak out or post publicly. You become a cautionary tale or apostate to others. Expect spiritual character assassination. When I got online, I was so ticked off by the time everything went down. I sent an email out to 200 and some JWs that was on my email list. And I told them that I will be doing videos online. And I don't think I used the word apostate, but I may have. But I said I will be doing videos online. And here's a link to my channel, Fixing My Faith. I invite you onto it. And that's assassination, character assassination. You're done, because you send that out to all those people. So now, like I sent it out to an email list. There's people on there I didn't even know. There's just part of a big list, that JWs get. And I had people dropping off Facebook, off everything. And I expected it, but I wanted to be upfront with everyone. This is what I'm doing. So I took the activist exit later. I just did that later, but that's not really what I did. I did the fade. I faded out. The ex and I split up. She faded out, and yeah. So the quiet walk away, it's similar, but the fade is where you make excuses like caring for family. You come up with a method of moving out of the congregation territory. The quiet walk away, you can do that anywhere. You just simply stop attending. You become a weak person. That's what they view you as. You just say nothing. Don't return any calls. Change your number, maybe move. If you're in an apartment or something, move somewhere else in the city, out of the territory. That's a good idea. The quiet walk away. If you meet up with family and that, they're not going to shun you because you just walked away. There was no announcement. You didn't meet with 2 elders. That's the mistake. You just walked away. You're weak. They want you back. So when you meet with family, expect them to really encourage you. The assembly was really good. So you did the quiet walk away, and you might sit there. You're not going to assemblies because you walked away. You're done. But when you talk with them, because you're not disfellowshipped or anything, you might appear a bit interested. Just don't get sucked in. And then they'll feel like, ooh, he was really listening to me. And then maybe if it's your family member, you can get together with them every once in a while. That's kind of what my son did. he did the quiet walk away. He still associates with his mother and his sister. So he's not an apostate. He in fact doesn't talk to me too much. Doesn't talk to me too much because I guarantee you he's being cued by the other family, the JWs. Are you talking to your dad? He's a wicked apostate. He's the devil. Your dad. Could you imagine, eh? Kids getting that from their alternate parent. That's a JW, right? Okay, so the quiet walk away, the verbal exit, that's the one everyone wants to do, is get up there and give a talk, and a public talk, until they shut you down. Or let's say you're giving a Bible reading. You got 5 minutes. So you just start rapping off for 5 minutes while you're leaving. Maybe tie in some of the Bible reading to it or something. I don't know. They'll drag you off pretty quick. The verbal exit. But you might just tell an elder, I'm done with it. It's my last meeting. 4, the activist exit. So we covered them all, folks. Whatever your method is, they'll all come with a price. So choose based on your mental health, not fear. And once you're out, build boundaries that they cannot climb. That's important. So what to expect from yourself? Emotional roller coaster. You have freedom on one hand, then you have guilt, then you have grief, then you have clarity. Then you'll do that circle for a while. I got into drinking. I was drinking heavily. I probably would have been an alcoholic if it wasn't for my good wife. She saved me from a lot of things. And identity crisis. Who am I without the truth? That's what you might think. You have an identity crisis. You're out. It's been a bit. You have some fun. You have all this freedom, guilt, grief, and clarity. And then you sit there one night. Oh, what am I? What do I have left? I don't have the truth anymore. You're going to have those moments. And then you're going to have time distortion. Time distortion. It's feeling like years were wasted. You're going to sit back and you're going to reflect on all. For me, it was 30 years. I had to reflect on a lot of things, the way I raised my kids, no birthdays, they went to school, all those times, all those things I had to reflect on. And then you have to go through a spiritual detox. It's a spiritual detox. You don't have to rush into believing anything new, folks. In fact, that's the worst thing to do. But you have to spiritually detox. And sometimes it's listening to other people on YouTube. Maybe if you're interested in the scriptures, you might find someone in the scriptures. If you're interested in something else, you might find someone else out there that you're interested in. It's kind of helping you to detox, but don't rush in or don't believe everything you listen to out there. And you might at first feel like you're floating in space without gravity. And that's normal. You're free. But your deprogramming, it takes time. The freedom you can get right away, but the deprogramming, it's going to take some time. In fact, it can take years. So what to expect from JW friends and family? Sudden ghosting. They weaponize silence. And gossip from elders. And conditional love. Come back. We can talk. We love you, brother. I had that right when I first left. This conditional love. I had people calling me from all over the place, and never heard from them since, people that I first met when I got into the org. Hadn't heard from these people for 20 some years. All of a sudden they're calling. It was the very people that got me baptized that were calling to try to save me. It was interesting, eh? They go to that depth. So they went all the way back in my record. Who got him baptized? Right here. Let's give him a call. Give Brother Hool a call and try to get him back. He sent Bethel a really nasty letter about all the stuff he went through, but we don't want to bring that up. just try to get them back. Just get them to forgive. Just walk away from all that stuff. They tried everything, folks. I even had one elder call me up and he said, yeah, those elders were wrong. And he started lecturing me on the phone. And this was an elder. He says, they were wrong in stopping you from preaching up north. That was completely wrong, unscriptural. And I said, you know what, brother? They were right. They acted according to the elders book. The elders book told them to do that. You're wrong for going against them. You could be deleted for that. And he hung up the phone, never ever called me back. And he was one of the guys I hired to go up north. So it was interesting. It was an interesting journey. You're going to get a lot of that. So be prepared. Okay. And they won't say it outright, but you've become dangerous to them. You're a danger. Your freedom is contagious. So, what to expect from the organization itself? Drive-by visits from elders. So if you left, they're going to look to see if you're fornicating too. They want to disfellowship you, right? They want to have reasons why you left. Be careful. That's why I say move. Get out of Dodge. Make that part of your exit. Move. Don't give anybody your address. Go to your last meeting and quit. Or just quit. Just move and quit. Get your records. Say I'm moving here. Get your records, because they mail the records out. Send it to the secretary of that hall, and just don't show up ever. Random texts with just checking in. Hey, I'm just checking in, brother. How you doing? Disfellowshipping by assumption, and social monitoring through JW grapevine. So you're probably going to hear a little bit of noise because my furnace just kicked in. Okay, so what do we have left? Well, you don't have to be disfellowshipped to be shunned, and you don't have to go to the Kingdom Hall to be investigated. So here's a personal warning. Don't be too friendly. Don't be too friendly. After I walked away, they left me alone, and I still spoke with my kids. 8 years later went by. Then I ran into a former elder at a grocery store. We had a friendly talk. Eventually, we after I mentioned, we met at Tim Hortons. I even brought my Bible. I think I did. Big mistake. Big mistake. Don't ever do that. So that friendly coffee turned into an investigative meeting with two elders, because they won't tell you they're bringing another elder. I thought I was meeting with my old friend, but they're never your old friend. They're investigating you. And they reported back to the body. Suddenly, I was disassociated. That coffee cost me everything. Jack, the man I studied with up north, the IT guy, well, they were not brave enough to deliver the final blow. They had Jack do it. A study, a JW study. He was my friend. He phones me up. He says, you're demonized. That was it. I lost all my business up north. All for what? Well, because in their eyes, you might come back and they want to control the story before you do. You see? So they want to be one step ahead of you, kind of get your name muddied out there. So when you do come back, well, people know that you have a history. But you see, if you came back without being disassociated and muddied, and you said, yeah, I had this experience and this experience, that might become contagious, right? And they're going to lose others. Others are going to go out and try the world, right? That's what happens. They want to control the story, control the narrative. So here's the next part I want to talk to you about: deprogramming, the real escape. You can leave the Kingdom Hall, but not the programming. So once you left, you still have the Kingdom Hall in your head. People leave, they go out and party for even 6 months, have a good old time. But the doctrine runs deep. They go back. They just say, well, I was weak. They might make excuses, whatever. It happens all the time. So you must challenge the beliefs that are put into your head one by one, and you must remove them with new beliefs. Some of the beliefs you might want to leave them in there, like the love part, the Jesus part. Maybe you want to keep that. That's really up to you. Everyone has to decide. Some people just throw it out and they're saying, I'm an atheist. And that's okay too, after being in the Watchtower that many years. So here's what I do. I choose nature, clean water, a quiet mind, a real life. And I do use the scriptures because I know them. I was in it for 30 years. And it really bothers me when JW Org uses the scriptures to control people. And that's when I use the scriptures back at them to say, hey, wait a minute. The scriptures don't say that. Here's what the scriptures really say. But you know what? For me, my spirituality is out here. The clean water, the forest, the dog, my good wife, especially, wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. That's real life to me. So whatever path you take it on your own terms. And how to protect your peace? Don't meet with the elders. Block them if needed. I put up a gate or move or whatever you want to do, but block. Don't try to fix the relationship right away or ever. Don't try to fix it. Don't be out there talking like it was yesterday. That's what I did. That's a lot of times we leave and, when we talk to those, it's like yesterday. But a lot went by and they've already viewed you for 8 years as a lost soul. And, I had all kinds of things said about me. But don't try to fix any of it, not right away. And don't overshare online at first. Give yourself some time to heal and to get things straight in your mind. And save evidence if they push. So if they push at you, document it all. Document everything. You might need it one day. So save the evidence. Save the evidence from why you left. Maybe there was something that pushed you out the door that's criminal. So save it all. Keep it quiet. You'll use it. There's going to be a time that you need it, that you're strong enough to use it. Not right away, though. So find some real support. Therapy. If you can't afford therapy, Discord. We have a Discord channel. Links always below. YouTube, ExJWs. There's a lot of channels out there, people telling their stories. You can learn a lot. And books. Books on how to deal with being depressed or anxiety. I bought one on anxiety. I found I had a lot of anxiety, and it helped me a lot, the book. So, folks, you just didn't leave a religion. You left a mind cage. That's what you left. They might ignore you now, but they'll still track your file and they'll still expect you back. But you know what they don't expect? They don't expect that you'll build a good life so you will never want to go back. And that's what I told the elders. I don't want to go back. I'm not going to go back. And that's when you're done, if you meet with them. So you go out, you do all of this, just don't tell anybody. So folks, live your life with love. Let your story become your strength. Let your story become your strength. And if you just left or are struggling, comment below. I read all the comments. I read every message. That's what I do in the morning when I have a coffee. My good wife goes through them too. We talk about them. So comment. And check out the pinned link for real support. And check out the comments under each video. They're very interesting. You're not alone. Not anymore. We'll see you later.